you can manifest the things you want in your life. But today, I'm going to deal with a couple of principles around it. First things first. Remember this. I'm going to tell you something. Y'all don't want to get too technical. But the truth is, every single human being we are nothing but our physical bodies. We're nothing but energy. Energy. Okay, so if you were to look at the human specimen under a particular microscope, you would notice that if you look at your hand under a microscope and your hand is everything, your particles are moving, molecules are moving. We are nothing but energy. We are energy, y'all. It's just that our naked eye cannot see the energy moving. We cannot see the molecules that are reproducing, the cells that are reproducing every single day at a rapid rate. Now, let me show you something. There was a guy named Canion back in the 1950s. Camera called the Canion camera. You can look this up. And he used to do photography. And this camera that he would take pictures of human beings, and inside of the camera would reveal that we're nothing but energy. Look it up on Google. If you don't believe me, the Canion camera, okay? And he would take a picture of people, and he would realize that people are nothing but energy. And so I want you to understand this. Whatever your energy, when you're energy, you operate on a certain frequency, okay? Here we go, we're gonna get deep. We're gonna get deep, and we'll get deeper in the challenge. But the truth is that everything we emit, our thoughts, our behaviors, we're nothing but energy to thoughts, okay? And so sometimes the energy we just substitute the word energy for vibration. Vibration is energy. What frequency are we on? Okay, our vibration is on a certain frequency. Now, if you have a high vibration, meaning if you have a high energy level, you think about positive things, you think about things that empower people, you think about all these things, you're going to attract people and things that are on that high energy level, that high vibrational pattern, that high frequency. Now, by the same token, if you are not, you're going to attract, if you're on a low frequency, depression, frustration, overwhelm, lying, all of these things you believe, you're going to attract people that believe the same things. Okay? The same things. All right? Thank you for the scriptures. Keep backing me up. I appreciate it. Psalm 34:4. All right. So look. So now get this. And so what happens in relationships is what happens is relationship, you believe certain things. You believe that I ain't gonna never find nobody. You believe that all men cheat. You believe no good women out there. You believe all this shit. And that's a low frequency. And you're going to attract the kind of people that are on that frequency. Remember this. Remember this. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where attention goes, energy flows. So wherever you put your attention to, if you're putting your attention on people that are cheating, if you're putting your attention on no good men, if you're putting your attention on this. And so what I'm saying is this. So first off, remember this. Where attention goes, energy flows. So wherever we put our attention, that's where our energy goes. Now, if the frequency is high, we're going to attract people who are on a high frequency. If the frequency is low, then we're going to attract people on a low frequency. It's that simple, y'all. Why do you think? You ever notice this right here when they say that? Y'all, it's funny because people say this stuff all the time and they don't even know. They're just saying dumb stuff. Let me give you an example. When people say misery loves company, what do you think that means? Misery loves company is simply saying miserable people are on a low vibration and they're going to attract other miserable folk. Y'all, that's the law of attraction in its purest form. In its purest form. I heard it the other day. Misery loves company. And I was thinking to myself, misery loves company. Yes, misery loves company because they're on a low vibrational pattern. And what they're doing is they're commiserating with other miserable people. That means that's what they're attracting. If you want to attract something different in your life, a better relationship, find your ideal partner, you can create that. You can create it. Now, here's what I'm going to say. So I'm going to give you two principles today. First principle is this. I gave you one of the principles is I'm giving you three really. Where attention goes, energy flows. So wherever you put your attention, if you're putting your attention in the 3-day challenge that we're doing, if you're putting your attention in understanding how to navigate your thoughts, how to navigate your emotions, how to put yourself in a position where you can receive the things you want. And you're going to give all kinds of examples in this 3-day challenge of people who manifest this stuff. But the first thing I want you to do understand is this. Your first principle is this. Number one, if you change the way you look at things, you change what you see. If you change the way you look at things, you change what you see. You see, here's why. So years ago, y'all, I had this business. I never forget, I was in all these papers, CNN, newspapers, QPC. I was everywhere. I was this whiz kid. I was this young business mind, this young whiz kid, right? I had all this talent. I could market my ass off. I could brag. I could still do that too. But at the time, I was making all this money. We went from $20,000 a month to $50,000 a month to $100,000 a month. I'll never forget it. And I started to believe it was all me. And soon after that, we lost it all. I lost it all. Oh, can you imagine? I remember when I got this Volvo. I got this Volvo 850. I had it custom done. It was black with tan interior. I had these silver wheels on it. It was one of a kind at the time. And I began to believe, it was me. And all of a sudden, I lost it all. Now, here's the deal. Most people look at that. And I at first, I said, how in the world? I said, man, why did this happen to me? I started blaming everybody else. I started blaming my partners. They didn't pull their weight up. I started blaming the banks. The banks didn't bail me out in times. I started to blame everybody except for me. And then I came upon the law of attraction. And I realized something. I realized that number one, I was responsible for everything in my life. When you take 100% responsibility for everything that happens in your life, everything that happens in your life. And I looked at this as a bad thing. This bankruptcy was a terrible thing that happened in my life. But one day, after I learned the principles, I turned it around and said, you know what? That bankruptcy was good. That bankruptcy was awesome. Now it showed me what not to do. It showed me how to be a better businessman. It showed me how to watch expenses and revenue, how to justify cash flow, how to do all those things. I still had the gifts that I had, but I changed the way I looked at it. Now, I haven't worked for anyone else in 27 years because of what I learned there. And so I changed the way I looked at it. I was like, this is one of the best things that ever happened to me, because now it showed me what not to do. So y'all, we despise the things that happen in our life that might be bad. The truth is, those things are going to help you acquire what you desire. All you have to do is be willing to change the way you look at it. You change it. So I didn't look at it any longer as the bankruptcy was bad. I said, man, now I know what to do. I know how to run a business. I know how to deal with cash flow. Now I said, all I got to do right now is take what I've learned and I can build it again. So you had a bad relationship. So what? What did you learn from it? Who did you become in the process? I told a brother this the other day. I'm mentoring a guy. And I said, brother, let me tell you something. I said, the truth of the matter is, I had the talent to build $1 million business, but I did not have the integrity to keep it. I had the talent to build $1 million business, but I didn't have the integrity to keep it, the character to keep it. I didn't have the character to keep it. But now I built it again. I've had successful businesses, and listen, y'all, I have a great life. Now I got a partner, and what we about to do, we're about to scale this business. Now I'm about to go to the next level. And so what we got to do is you got to change the way you look at things. And if you do that, you change what you see. Number two, second thing is simply this. The way you do it, the way the law of attraction works, it's this iron sharpeneth iron. Light attracts light. But the way you manifest using the law of attraction is simply this. One of the ways is act. Number two, Seema, because I know you be keeping notes. I appreciate you. Number two, act as if. Act as if. And you you say, Ken, what does that mean? Okay, so what happens to people a lot of times is they don't see the thing that they want. They can't see it in their natural eye. Their natural eye, they couldn't see it. They can't see it. And so they don't act as if they already have it. So let me tell you what, let me give you a story. I got a lot of stories, y'all. I got a lot of stories. I don't just talk about this, I do this. I don't just tell people, I'm not a coach that reads books and then regurgitates the things that I read. No, I live this stuff. I remember one of my great mentors at church used to say this, blessed rest his soul. He used to say, Ken, I know you go around the country teaching people stuff. And he says, empowering people. And, he said this. He said, what I want you to do is, he said, I notice you read your word. He said, you study your word. And I want you to study your word to teach people anything. He said, I want you to study your word to live and then teach people what you've lived. He said, study the word to live and teach people what you live. And that's all I do every day. I just teach people what I've lived. And the thing is this. I never forget this. I'm going to give you the story. Acting as if simply means, how would you act if you already had the thing that you desire? How would you act? So you act like you going to get it. So this is what I did, y'all. I never forget. I told the story yesterday about me being on The Biggest Loser. Many of you know I was on the show The Biggest Loser season 3. All right, look me up if you don't believe me. Look my name up, Ken Canion. All right, so I'll never forget. I'm going to end on this story right here. And one of the things that I did was, I never forget when I made a decision to change my life. I mean, here I was, 400 some pounds. I made a decision to change my life. And I'll tell you the story another day in the class when the buckle on the airline, when the flight attendant embarrassed me. But when I made the decision, see, then I had to act on my decision. So I never forget it, that day I came home and then my wife was talking about The Biggest Loser. And then I saw they had a casting call in Norfolk, Virginia. And I drove to Norfolk, Virginia that weekend. Now, listen, y'all, I don't know if they're going to pick me to be on this show, but I'm acting as if. And many of us, and that's what faith is about, y'all. Faith is about acting as if. Even though you can't see the very thing that you desire. So I went up there. I drove up and stayed the night. I stayed in a hotel and I went to the casting call that next day for The Biggest Loser. At the end of the day, there were 7,000 people there. 7,000 people came out. Okay? 7,000. And how many times when you look at your dreams, your goals, you look at all the heartache you've had and you say, it's not going to happen. Your natural eye. See, my natural eye, I need these readers on here. My natural eye, I need the readers to see all of your names, right? But see, within my spiritual eye, I can see things. That's what vision is. Seeing things that haven't manifested yet. All right. And so when I saw it, I saw myself getting on there. I saw myself being on the show. I saw it, even though despite the 7,500 people there. And so what I did, I acted as if I went anyway. I stood in line anyway. They hadn't picked me yet. And I'm going to tell this story one day, but I ain't going to tell it today because it's 1:27. But I'm going to tell you something right here. Out of I think it was 7,500 people, I was the last one that the casting director saw that day, because when we found out, they only saw 750 people. The other 6,000 and some had to go home. It just so happens that I was the last one that they saw that day, number 750. Now get this, y'all. We talking about the word, the last shall be first. I was the last one. You know what? Hang on. I'm going to tell y'all the story. Forget that. I can't leave y'all hanging like this. I got to tell the story. God compelling me to tell this story. All right. So I went to Norfolk, Virginia, y'all. Those of you listening to this, I went to Norfolk, Virginia because I decided to make a difference. I remember I got out of my car. I got out of my car at the same time another young lady got out of her car. We walked over to the line. And when we walked over to the line, I never forget, I got there before she did. But I decided, listen, I'm going to let you go first. She got in line before me, y'all. What we found out that day, like I said, by the end of the day, there were 7,500 people in line. But what we found out later on that day was the casting directors came around and said, we're only going to see 750 people, okay? Now get this, y'all. I told you so. At the end of the day, there were 1,500 people in front of me. I didn't even know that I was going to make it, but I stayed in line anyway. Because what we didn't know was how many people actually came to support someone else. So when we look at things from our natural eye, we don't know. All we know is what we think we see. And I said, but that's why you have to stay the course. So I stayed the course. And I'll never forget it when I found out that everybody that was in line wasn't in line to be on the show. And then so finally it got to around 2, 3 o'clock. No, it was 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, I'll never forget it. And then at 11 o'clock, I saw the person with the paper. Now they had this piece of paper. If you get this piece of paper, you get on. If you don't get the people, might as well get out of line. But nobody left. And I remember he got to 7:20, 7:30, because we kept getting people to run up there, y'all. I had developed friendship with about 12 people in my group. Y'all, the only thing we knew we had in common was one thing. We had one thing. We wanted to change our life, y'all. That's all we knew. And so a lot of times God gonna put you around people who are going to help you change your life, but you got to be willing to act as if. And so when I got up there, I remember he got to 7. I said, look, he's at 7:30, y'all. It was close. He was close. Then he got to 7:40. And I was like, you have more than 10 people in front of me. And I'm like, I'm not going to make it. He got to 7:41, 42, 43, 7:44, 45. He got to 7:48. And I'm like, and there were 2 people in front of me. No. He got 7:48, and there were three people in front of me. And I was like, no, I can't get this close and make it. It was 4 people in front of me. I'm sorry, 4 people. And then he asked the next girl, I'll never forget it. He said, he was about to give her her paper, and he said, how old are you? And he hadn't asked anybody their age. And she said 16. And he said, oh, you can't go. Her friend, the next person, she was 17. She said, my birthday is soon. I'll be 18. He said, but your birthday now. You can't go. He gave 7:49. 7:50 was me. I was the last person. Now, that's not the end of the story. And the story ends like this. Remember the young lady that I told you who got there before me? But throughout the day, we were going back and forth to the bathroom. And by the time we saw the guy coming, we just got in line. So she ended up behind me. And the truth is, she was the only one in that group today, in our group that I met, who didn't get a piece of paper. Now, I thought to myself, Ken, do I give this paper back to her? And I said to myself, nope. But then I thought again. I said, listen, I'm going to give it. I turned. I remember in the Bible, what did Jesus tell? He told Judas, what you do quickly. Whatever you going to do it quickly. Don't think about it. Don't wait around for somebody else to tell you the shit is all right. I turned to that girl. I said, listen, this paper doesn't belong to me. It belongs to you. Take it. But promise me one thing. Too much is given, much is required. You have to do something with this opportunity. She looked at me with tears in her eyes, and she said, you keep it. You already told me you're going to change the world. You're going to change people's lives. And you know what I said? I will keep it. And y'all, out of those 7,500s, all those people, 250,000 people applied to be on that show. And your boy was the only one chosen that day. Remember, what God's got for you, you can manifest it. He told you you're a co-creator of your own life, but you have to act as if. You have to do the work. You got to be willing to take the action. So I'm going to leave you with this. Y'all, that's my time. That's my time today. We're going to be in this vein the whole week. All right? Keep joining me. Send somebody else. Send it to somebody else, may need it. All right? Until then, I'm Ken Canion, the host of Love, Lust, and Lies. And remember, every journey starts with one step. Take yours today. Peace.